I'm your host, Mina Hernandez, and with me is Eileen Radin, a parent education expert who has worked in the field for over 20 years. Eileen.
Thank you, Mina. In this series, we'll look at some of the primary issues parents face in raising their children. Parenting is a skill, and like all skills, it is acquired and can be developed and improved. The children on our program are 5-year-olds, but as we know, many ideas that apply to young children are applicable to children of any age. The subject of today's program is discipline. The goal of discipline is to teach children to become self-disciplined as they learn to take responsibility for their behavior.
Now let's watch a scene in which a parent disciplines her child. Watch closely and ask yourself, what would I do if I were in this situation?
Samantha, I don't want you playing with your toys in the living room. Now put them away. What did I just tell you, Sam? Are you deaf? Clean up this mess now.
Why?
Because I said so. I'm coming back in this room in 5 minutes, and if it isn't clean, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble. Do you understand me? That's it. You don't want to listen? Fine.
I put some toys away.
Well, I told you to put them all away. Now, I am never buying you another toy again.
Samantha didn't follow her mother's directions, and Jennifer grew increasingly frustrated. Take a moment and consider the following questions. How did Jennifer's discipline method affect Samantha's behavior? What would you have done in this situation? How did Jennifer's discipline method affect Samantha?
Well, obviously the method didn't work too well because she didn't listen to her mom.
Good point. How did it affect Samantha?
Samantha seemed bored, like she'd heard it all before, and she knew she could get away with disobeying.
Now, did Samantha believe her mom's threats of buying her no more toys? Anybody have any thoughts on that?
I think she was confused.
She was confused, Samantha?
That's easy for you to judge. I mean, I asked her to clean up her mess several times. I almost tripped in there and broke my neck. I mean, enough is enough.
Okay, let's see. Let's hear over here.
Does Samantha know that she's not allowed to play in the living room, or is that a rule that she made up on the spot?
Usually she's allowed to play in the living room. Things got out of hand this time.
Well, how is she supposed to know that? I mean, if you usually let her play in there, then it's not her fault if you don't like the mess.
Eileen.
It's important that we establish clear rules and limits with our children so they know what to expect. Consistency gives a child a sense of security.
Okay, what else could Jennifer have done? Any other thoughts on what she might have done?
Well, I think this issue is totally overblown. I mean, regardless of what Jennifer said, Samantha would have done whatever she wanted to do. I mean, that's what kids do. Yeah. They push it to the limit to see how far they can go before their parents put their foot down.
Yeah, exactly.
Hold on, over here.
Yeah, but Samantha didn't know what the consequences would be. All Jennifer said was, you're going to be in a lot of trouble, and I'm not going to buy you any more toys.
Right.
But the chances are you will buy toys sometime in the future. True. We need to avoid making empty threats because when children hear enough of them, they just stop listening to us. Instead, follow through with consequences that the child can understand.
Can you give an example?
Yes. First of all, we want to avoid power struggles because they're not productive. Yeah. And it's important not to threaten and yell. Instead, tell Samantha in a calm and friendly voice what you want her to do, and then give her a choice. So you can say, we can clean up together, and then when we're finished, you may still play with 1 or 2 toys at a time, and you may choose the toys you want to play with. But if I have to clean up alone, Then all the toys will be put away until tomorrow. And then if Samantha still refuses to help, you can say, I see you've decided that I'm going to put away the toys, and then that's what you do. In this way, the consequences are related to the behavior, and the child is responsible for her own decision.
Very good idea. I like that.
Yeah, good ideas.
Yeah.
What other things could Jennifer have done differently? Audience? What other things could she have done differently?
If she wanted the mess cleaned up so well, why didn't you just clean it up yourself?
Whoa. Okay, let's hear over here.
I disagree.
Thank you.
Because Jennifer needs to, learn how to take responsibility for her own actions, and she wouldn't do it that way.
Right.
She could have at least given her a time frame, though, instead of making her stop right there on the spot.
I did. I told her she had 5 minutes.
A young child does not understand what 5 minutes is.
Timer might help. If you maybe put a timer and told Samantha when this rings and then it's time to start putting away your toys. What do you think, Eileen?
Well, yes, so using a timer is an excellent idea because then the child will know what to expect. The concept of time is difficult for a young child to grasp.
Okay, over here.
What you guys are all forgetting here is that Samantha did try to clean up. She picked up 1 or 2 toys, but her mom didn't even acknowledge that she at least tried.
That's right, she did pick up a couple of toys.
Come on, you call that cleaning 1 toy in 10 minutes? I mean, the kid was playing lazy.
It was overwhelming for Samantha. I mean, maybe all she could handle was to pick up 1 or 2 toys.
Eileen, what do you think?
Oh, yes, I agree with that. A young child would find it difficult to clean up a large mess alone. You need to know what your child is capable of doing at her level of maturity.
Okay, what else? What else could Jennifer have done? Anyone have any more thoughts? Over here?
She didn't take Samantha's feelings into account. She just told her what she had to do, and that was it.
Okay, back here.
Yes, but Samantha wanted to keep playing, and that's not what Jennifer wanted.
Right, but even if the child doesn't get what she wants, then at least she knows that her mom understands.
Good point.
I agree. I
Okay.
do definitely agree. I would have liked to have seen Jennifer tell Samantha what she'd done right. The only thing she told her was what she had done wrong.
Good point.
Well, parenting is not a democracy, and sometimes what a child wants just can't be accommodated for.
Eileen, what do you have to say for that?
It's true that we can't always fulfill our child's desires, but we can acknowledge them. So you can say something like, you wish you never had to put away your toys, but that's not possible and I need the room clean. But a child who feels understood usually tries to comply.
That makes sense. That does.
Let's review what we've learned. Which of the following choices would be appropriate for Jennifer? A. Jennifer could warn Samantha that she needs to stop playing soon, but give her enough time to transition from playing to cleaning. B. Samantha could be given a choice of helping to clean up or have all the toys put away until the next day. C. Jennifer could clean up the toys herself and tell Samantha she won't get any new toys for a long time. D. Jennifer could acknowledge Samantha's desire to continue playing, but explain why she cannot. A, B, and D are appropriate choices for Jennifer. You may have additional good ideas as well. Letter C is not the best choice because it is probably an empty threat. It's also a punishment, which doesn't teach Samantha what she should do. It's important for the discipline process to be instructive. Let's summarize some of the key points we've discussed so far. Number 1, establish an environment for your child in which rules and expectations are consistent. Consistency provides a sense of security for your child. Number 2, avoid making bribes or threats. When bribes are used, The child works for the bribe and does not learn to take responsibility. Threats are not easy to carry out, and they don't teach anything. Number 3, apply appropriate consequences when the child does not obey. Make sure the intention is to teach children self-discipline and not to punish. Number 4, explain to your child why she can't do what she wishes at that moment. Provide alternatives. Number 5, avoid power struggles with your children. Children who gain control over their parents feel insecure. They need guidance along with respect for their feelings. Jennifer, would you like to go back in time and try it again?
Yes, I think I would.
Let's watch Jennifer and see what she does differently.
Samantha, what's our rule about the toys?
I can't have so many toys out at one time.
Right. So what will you do about this? When I see the toys all over the living room, I feel upset because the house looks messy and someone may trip and get hurt. I'm going to set this timer for 10 minutes. When the bell goes off, it's time for you to pick up. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Sam, these toys still aren't picked up. I know you want to play in here, but I want these toys cleaned up. Do you want Mama to help you pick up? And then you can keep 2 toys aside to play with until dinner. Sam, if you don't help Mommy pick up, then there will be no more playing with your toys for the rest of the day. Okay, I see you've made your decision. I'll clean up, and then we'll try again tomorrow.
Mommy, I want my toys.
I know you do. We'll try again tomorrow.
Okay, I'll do whatever you say, I promise.
No, Sam. We'll try again tomorrow. Now, I need to go make dinner. Would you like to help me get ready?
I'll set the table.
Okay.
How did you feel about that, Jennifer?
Much better. I think Sam had a better understanding of what I expected of her, and I didn't feel so angry. And I think I have a better understanding now of what Sam is capable of doing at her age.
Good work, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Now we're going to watch another scene between a parent and his child. Remember to ask yourself, what would I do if I was in this situation?
What a day.
Hi.
Oh, hey, baby. It's good to be home.
I'm glad you're home. You look exhausted.
I am. Oh, I think I'm just going to take a few minutes and relax right here on the couch.
Go ahead. Dinner won't be ready for a while.
Daddy!
Oh.
Daddy, can we play catch?
Oh, not right now. Maybe later.
Daddy, I made a drawing of you in school today. Want to see it?
Yeah. Not right now, though. Maybe later. I'm really tired.
Daddy, I went to the computer lab.
Hey, Teresa?
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to call the phone company today about getting the new line installed?
Daddy, I'm reading you a story.
Did you?
Daddy, I'm reading you
Hey,
a
Joe.
story.
I'm tired.
That's my truck. No, it's mine. Give it to me. Daddy, Pedro hit me.
Pedro, knock it off. How would you like it if I hit you?
I hate you.
You know, you're a very bad boy for saying that to me.
Gonzalo came home from work exhausted. His sons wanted his attention. The situation resulted in conflict. Think about the following questions. What did Pedro want from his father? How did Gonzalo respond to his son's aggressiveness? What would you have done in that situation? What did Pedro want from his father?
He wanted him to pay attention. It's that simple.
He wanted him to pay attention. Anyone else?
Well, Gonzalo shouldn't have ignored his sons. I mean, they missed him after not seeing him all day.
Gonzalo, what do you have to say?
I didn't ignore my sons. I mean, I hugged them as soon as I came in, and I told them I'd play with them, but later. I just worked 14 hours. I need a little time to relax.
That's true. He works so hard. He really needs that relaxation.
Anybody else have a thought for Gonzalo and Teresa?
Yeah, give the guy a break. I mean, he busts his butt to put food on the table, and he hugs and he kisses his kids. I mean, what more do you want?
What more do we want? Okay, let's tell her what more we want.
He could have avoided the entire situation if he just took in a few minutes to spend some time with his kids. I mean, Pedro obviously hit his son to get his attention. Gonzalo ignored his son.
Eileen, what do you think about that?
Well, I agree with you. I think that's exactly what happened. Pedro was determined to get attention from his father one way or another. And he achieved that goal by hitting his brother. Children will behave in a way that they can get noticed. And from their point of view, negative attention is better than none. Mm-hmm. We as parents have a tendency to ignore our children when they're behaving and pay attention to them when they're misbehaving. Thus, we end up reinforcing the negative behavior. What we really want to do is reinforce the behavior that we like.
But what about Gonzalo? He needs time to relax.
Well, that's true, and you and your child had conflicting needs. You needed to unwind, and Pedro needed attention. Sometimes paying attention to your child when you first come home from work for 5 or 10 minutes, even though it might feel difficult for you, can make a difference between an evening filled with tension or a pleasant evening. Another thing you might think about is preparing your children in advance, that when you come home, you need some time to yourself to unwind, maybe a half an hour or so before you can interact with them. If they know what to expect, children can be cooperative.
Okay, talking about conflicting needs, what are some of the ways to solve those conflicting needs? What are some of the suggestions?
Well, I think that Gonzalo could play with the children for a few moments and then tell them that he's going to come back and play with them again later.
Anybody else? Thoughts?
He could just hold them on his lap while he's watching TV. I mean, playing and talking aren't the only ways of spending time.
Good ideas. Okay, over here, anybody else? Oh, here we go.
I think he should have told his kids about how busy his day was and then told them that you couldn't play with them until later.
Yeah, explain to them.
Hey, a kid wants what he wants right now. A 5-year-old doesn't understand the meaning of patience.
If you explain your feelings, I think a child can certainly understand.
Eileen, what do you think?
Well, those are all good suggestions. Gonzalo can find a way to connect with his child in a meaningful way and still satisfy his need to relax.
I like the idea of putting my kids on my lap. I mean, that way I can relax and they'll feel special.
Okay. Now let me ask you another question. When Pedro hit Ramiro, how did Gonzalo react? How did he handle himself? What do you guys think? Did he do good? Did he do bad? Anybody have any thoughts?
He told him to stop it. He reacted firmly and decisively, and I think that was a good thing.
Okay, so you agree. Here's one. Person that agrees? Okay, what about here?
Well, I agree that he should have responded swiftly, but you shouldn't have threatened to hit him.
No.
My son has hit his brother so many times, Gonzalo had to put an end to it.
Yeah, but your anger didn't teach him. If anything, it showed that hitting and yelling are your ways of dealing with problems.
Eileen, what do you think?
Yes, well, let's look at this. First of all, we need to separate the child from the behavior. Telling Pedro he's a bad boy doesn't tell him what he did wrong. You might say instead, I love you, but I don't like it when you hit your brother or when you speak rudely to me. And spanking may stop the behavior temporarily, but it doesn't teach the child how to handle his anger or express it in a way that's not harmful.
Okay, so spanking is a no-no. Who agrees with that? Spanking is a no-no? You agree, disagree? What do you think?
But spanking does work. It did stop the behavior.
Well,
Spanking works? What do you guys think? You think so?
you might frighten the child into submission, but he may not understand why what he did was wrong. And also, a child who's spanked frequently actually may be hindered in developing a conscience. It's more important to help a child think about his behavior in order to change it.
Okay. Is that it? One more thought over here.
Pedro was angry, Gonzalo was angry. The anger had to come out somehow.
I agree. It's easy to be rational, but in the moment, you can't disregard those angry feelings.
I think that's true, and we should never disregard anger. Children should know it's okay to feel angry, but parents must teach their children how to handle their anger in a way that's constructive. Now let's review what we've talked about. Which of the following choices would be appropriate for Gonzalo? A. Gonzalo could acknowledge Pedro's anger, but explain why hitting his brother is unacceptable. B. Gonzalo could raise his voice to let Pedro know how inappropriate his behavior has been, but avoid hitting him. C. Gonzalo could calmly explain that anger is unacceptable and that when he's angry, he's a bad child. Letter A is a good choice for Gonzalo. You may have additional good ideas as well. Letter B is not a good choice because yelling damages a child's self-esteem and teaches that verbal aggression is a valid expression of anger. Letter C is not a good choice either. A child needs to know that anger is a natural emotion that shouldn't be suppressed, but should be dealt with in an acceptable manner. Separate the child from the behavior. Being angry is not being bad. Let's summarize what we've learned. Number 1, try to resolve conflicting needs. When the needs of you and your child are in opposition, find a compromise. Number 2, separate the child from the behavior. Don't identify the child with expressions like bad boy or bad girl. Children often see themselves as their labels. Their behavior reflects their self-image. Number 3, hitting or spanking reinforces aggression as a valid form of behavior. Number 4, acknowledge your children's feelings of anger and help them find acceptable ways to express it. The child should be allowed to own his feelings, but the parent needs to control the child's behavior. Number 5, reinforce behavior you like and try to ignore behavior you don't like unless it's destructive. This allows the child to associate feelings of approval with appropriate behavior. Gonzalo and Teresa, would you like to go back in time and do the scene again?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's watch and see what Gonzalo and Teresa do differently.
Oh, Pedro, Ramiro.
Daddy.
Oh, how are my boys? Oh.
Daddy, can we play catch?
Oh, yes we can, but not right now. I'm very tired. How about after dinner?
Okay, want to see my drawing I made for you?
I'd love to see the drawing, but I'm very tired. Do you know how many hours I worked today?
No.
14.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, Ramiro, come up here. Sit on my lap. All right. And I'll tell you what. After dinner, we'll look at your picture, and then we'll all go play some catch, okay?
Okay.
If Gonzalo had shown Pedro this much attention, he probably wouldn't have hit his brother. But if he did hit him, here's one way he could deal with it.
That's my truck. No, it's mine. Give it to me. Daddy, Pedro hit me.
Pedro, in this house, we do not allow hitting. Tell your brother how you feel.
Don't take my toys unless you ask.
That's good. Now, Romero, tell your brother what it feels like to be hit.
It hurts. I don't like it.
Pedro, what else can you do when you feel angry?
I don't know.
Well, I can't let you hit another person. How about when you get angry, if you hit a pillow?
Okay.
That's good.
How did that feel, Gonzalo?
Oh, much better. I think I actually found a way of making Pedro understand that hitting his brother is wrong.
But you did more than that. You also taught him how to handle his anger in a constructive way.
Any final thoughts, Eileen?
Yes, keep in mind that discipline is a natural part of parenting. Expect your child to test limits and misbehave once in a while. But you also need to remember that the more you set clear and consistent limits, the easier your job will be. And remember the bottom line, discipline is meant to teach and to correct. Now let's summarize some of the key points of our discussion. Number 1, be consistent. Number 2, avoid bribes and threats. Number 3, apply appropriate consequences. Number 4, state your feelings and needs. Number 5, acknowledge the child's feelings and wishes. Number 6, allow the child to feel anger. Number 7, avoid power struggles. Number 8, allow the child to help resolve the conflict. Number 9, avoid spanking and yelling. Number 10, reinforce positive behavior and ignore behavior which is tolerable and isn't hurting anyone. Number 11, set clear limits. Number 12, have realistic expectations. Number 13, understand your child's maturity level. Number 14, separate the child from the act. The child has the right to receive unconditional love. These 14 points can help you discipline your child effectively. An excellent way to implement your new skills is to keep a daily journal. Describe the limits that you set and the consequences that result from misbehavior. Describe how you include your children in setting limits and keep a record of the changes in your children's behavior.
Thanks, Eileen. We hope that this program will help you in your relationship with your own children. We look forward to seeing you on our next episode of The Now and Future Parent. Thank you. Bye-bye.